2020 presidential candidate Senator Amy Klobuchar is taking on health care for senior citizens. She's unveiled a new plan to help people with Alzheimer's and other chronic conditions.
It calls for strengthening Medicare and Social Security, lowering drug costs, and creating personal savings accounts to help Americans save for retirement. The proposal also ensures paid family leave for all. And Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar is joining us now at the table. Thank you for joining us. Let us start with this new proposal for seniors. How is it better and different than what we see happening in the country now, and how will we pay for it?
Okay. Well, first of all, it, of course, shores up Social Security and Medicare and makes sure that we're bringing the cost of prescription drugs down. Major issue for seniors. Right now, Medicare is banned from negotiating for less expensive drugs with the pharmaceutical companies. It's a ridiculous situation for 47 million seniors in America. And so I have always led these efforts. I think the pharma companies know this is finally going to happen, but it'll bring prices down for seniors. But the big piece of this is better research on Alzheimer's, a bigger focus on caregivers, whether they're someone's husband or wife or daughter or son. They're the heroes that are taking care of them every single day and providing them some tax credits and help when they are doing that caregiving. I would pay for it under this plan. I try to pay for everything I put out there because we also got to think about the debt and what's happening there. Right now, very wealthy people put a bunch of money in something called trust funds for their kids, and then they don't really pay the kind of taxes, if any, that other people pay. And so taxing that amount of money, which is millions and millions of dollars, actually brings in hundreds of billions of dollars that we could use to pay for this. So it's an interesting idea because it is making sure that it's not on the backs of regular people paying for this, but you help the seniors, which is a lot of people in our country.
You know, I was pretty surprised by the statistics regarding Alzheimer's in this country, and this is personal for you. What is it about your father, and what was the impetus for putting this plan together?
Yeah, I think, first of all, people have done 14 million people, not just senior people, because some people get Alzheimer's, have Alzheimer's. It's the most expensive disease in America, and because it is so hard and so difficult on families. And my own dad got it later in life, which is a gift because some people get it earlier. He's 91 now, he's in memory care, and he's still an incredibly amazing person in terms of his vocabulary. He was a sports writer and then a columnist. And even last year, he introduced me to someone at the senior living place and said, "This is my daughter." He always has a good sense of humor. She holds an obscure job in the federal government. But that being said, you have these moments where you realize that they maybe don't remember who you are. And those are hard things because slowly, month by month, they're more distant, not in your heart, but in their minds. And that's a hard thing for all families to go through, and that's why I feel so strongly that there's just got to be a way, with all of the work and incredible medical breakthroughs and technology, to treat this better and then also eventually find a cure.
Senator, we want to ask you some questions about some of the news of the day. One of the things we're talking about today are the planned ICE raids that are expected to start over the weekend, Sunday of all days. You know, here's the argument. There are people in this country that shouldn't be here. They're here, they're undocumented, and they may also have criminal records. What should be done?
Well, when someone has a serious criminal record, of course they should be deported. They're a security risk for this country. But instead of just focusing on those people, this administration seems to want to scare all immigrants. We know there's around 12 million undocumented workers in America, many of them working, many of them who would like to come out of the shadows and pay their taxes and get on some kind of a path to citizenship. I think that big part of our economy. Everyone knows we're not going to deport 12 million people. So the way the president does this, instead of focusing on those that are security risks, scaring everyone, saying thousands of people are going to be deported, people not knowing, is it me, is it my neighbor, who is it? That is not a way to handle this. I think you should focus your resources on the people that are the biggest security risks. I ultimately think we need comprehensive immigration reform that passed the Senate with Republican votes, brought the deficit down by $158 billion, according to the Congressional Budget Office, supported by Grover Norquist, who's a debt-focused person. And so you could actually take some of that money, a small part of that money, even $158 billion, put it in security at the border, put it to those countries where a lot of the asylum seekers are coming up, work with those countries better, make sure people can seek asylum. I just think there's all kinds of rational things we could be doing right now instead of putting out an alert to scare people, which is what he's doing.
One last question. Will the Congress take action against President Trump's decision to force federal agencies to turn over data on undocumented immigrants? Is there anything the Congress can do?
You know, I think we'll do what we can. We still have the Senate is run by Mitch McConnell, so we will do what we can. I just think the chaos that Donald Trump creates every day, it doesn't matter if it's immigration, if it's health care, this latest debacle with the census, where he's really back to where we were when we were just getting ready to print the census, which is part of our Constitution, which he's now learned is cannot be overridden by a tweet because the Supreme Court told him that. You know, we're once again doing exactly what we would have done in the first place. And it's just all of these things that he keeps doing where I think we should be governing from opportunity right now. We got through that downturn because of workers and businesses. And when you're in charge of a business or even in your own family and your kid comes home and gets a good report card, you don't go, oh, great, I'm not going to worry about you anymore. You look at what are the challenges in front of you. We have big challenges in this country. One of them is immigration reform, but there's other things. There's climate change. There's health care costs. And we should be working on getting our workers ready for the jobs that are coming before us and really as a country unifying around these challenges. And I just don't see him doing that because he's dividing people every day.
You are on the Senate Judiciary Committee. The House Judiciary Committee will be talking to Robert Mueller. Anything that you would like to hear from him?
Yeah, well, there's one unique thing I want to hear from him because during the hearing with Attorney General Barr, at the very end, I think he was getting kind of crabby, and I asked him, I said, did Director Mueller look at the tax returns and the financial documents? And he said, I don't know, ask him. And then I said, okay, so do you want to make him come here before us so I can ask him? He goes, oh. And so I've been trying to get that answer, so I would hope one of the House members asks that question. But overall, I would like to hear him talk about what Russia did in this election. That is my #1 focus because I think it's the thing we can do something about most immediately. The elections are coming up in 2020. We know, and I've heard classified information this, and then of course a lot of this has been in public. Just the way they, in the words of Director Mueller's report, systematically and in a sweeping fashion went after our election equipment, trying to hack into it in all 50 states. The way they used propaganda and put out bought ads, political ads, fake ads in rubles to try to influence the election. That is a big deal because, you know, we just got off 4th of July. Hundreds of thousands of Americans lost their lives on the battlefield fighting for our democracy, for that simple idea that we can control our own destiny and vote. And yet you have a foreign country coming in and invading our elections, not with tanks and missiles, but with a cyber attack. And it is really dense to get through that whole report. But I think if he very clearly goes through what Russia did, it'll be really helpful for the American people to hear that. And then we hope it's going to gain support for things like backup paper ballots, just in case they do this again, or some other country does it to us. That's my bill. Making sure those social media companies tell us where that money's coming from. They make money off these ads. Who's paying for it? What are these ads? That's something else we could easily get done in the next few months. That's why I hope he focuses on that.
Senator Amy Klobuchar, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's great to be on.